the depths of time, in a world filled with darkness and chaos, there emerged men, divine guides, chosen by a higher power. They brought forth messages that would ripple through the fabric of human history. Their words are still alive today, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those who seek them. But who were these men? What did they truly bring to us? Welcome to a journey, a timeless quest, through the stories of the prophets, mysterious figures, agents of truth and change. Their legacies are as old as time itself, yet their relevance is as powerful as ever. But before we embark, remember to like, subscribe, and share this story with others. You'll want to be here for what comes next. Our story begins in a paradise untouched by human corruption. In the beginning, there was Adam, the first man, the first prophet. Placed in the Garden of Eden, Adam was not just the beginning of humanity. He was the beginning of a divine covenant. In the Quran, God speaks directly to Adam. "O Adam, dwell you and your wife in paradise, and eat therefrom in ease and abundance." But with the gift of paradise came the weight of a warning. Adam and his wife Eve were told not to eat from a specific tree, a divine law that was clear. Yet temptation led them astray, and they ate the fruit, and thus the first disobedience in human history unfolded. And so the cycle of humanity continued: struggles, rebellion, disobedience. With every generation the message of righteousness dimmed. But then came Noah, another messenger, a prophet chosen to guide a drowning world. The people mocked him as he built the ark, warning them of a flood that would soon wipe away the wicked. But they turned away, the Quran tells us, and they called him mad. But Noah remained faithful. He persevered as the rains began to fall. And when the flood waters rose, only those who believed in the message of salvation survived. The ark became a symbol of hope, a testament to God's mercy, and a warning of the consequences of ignoring divine guidance. Generations passed, and with them came new prophets, but no figure embodied the theme of sacrifice more than Abraham, the man who was called to leave his home, to journey into the unknown, to follow a path laid out by God himself. The Quran speaks of Abram's devotion. When his Lord said to him, "Submit," he said, "I have submitted to the Lord of the worlds." And yet, the true test of Abram's faith came when God commanded him to sacrifice his son. A father's love was tested in the most unimaginable way. But at the last moment, God intervened, sparing the son and sending a ram to be sacrificed in his place. Abraham's unwavering faith set the foundation for many of the world's great religions. His message was clear. True devotion is the willingness to submit entirely to the will of God. Centuries later, the world was in the grips of tyranny. The Egyptians enslaved the Israelites, and the cry for justice echoed through the sands of Egypt. From the heart of this suffering emerged Moses, a man raised in Pharaoh's palace, yet destined to free his people from bondage. Moses' story is one of transformation. He was called by God from the heart of a burning bush, where God said, "Indeed, I am your Lord, so remove your sandals. You are in the sacred valley of Tuwa." Moses returned to Egypt, armed with divine power to face Pharaoh's might. Through signs and miracles, he led the Israelites out of Egypt, parting the Red Sea and drowning Pharaoh's forces. Yet, the journey was not without struggle. The Israelites wandered the desert for 40 years, learning the painful but essential lessons of trust in the divine will. The prophets continued to come, each one bringing a message for their time. But in the 7th century, a final prophet arose. In the desert, surrounded by the heat of a fractured world, a man named Muhammad, peace be upon him, received a divine revelation that would change the course of human history. One night, as Muhammad meditated in the cave of Hira, the angel Gabriel appeared to him with the first verses of the Quran. "Read in the name of your Lord who created," Gabriel commanded. And so began a journey that would bring the light of divine wisdom to a dark world. The Quran, revealed over 23 years, contained the final message to humanity. Muhammad's message was one of peace, justice, and the oneness of God. Despite immense opposition, he led his people with mercy, teaching them to live by the divine laws of compassion, honesty, and unity. Today, the world is not so different from the world that the prophets faced. We live in an age of distractions, noise, and materialism. Our faith is tested daily by the pressures of society and the temptations of our desires. The question we must ask ourselves is, are we listening to the message? The message of the prophets was not confined to their time. It was not a message for a specific group, but for all of humanity. Their lives and teachings remain a beacon of light in a world filled with uncertainty. Yet, in our modern world, many of us have drifted far from the simplicity of their wisdom. The messages of justice, mercy, and submission to a higher power are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. But the question lingers. Do we, too, have prophets today? Or are we still waiting for a sign, a guide to point us back to the truth? The world spins forward, and the divine messages remain, hidden yet accessible, waiting for those with the courage to seek them. The prophets, Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Muhammad, peace be upon them all, left us a legacy of divine wisdom. But their true message is not simply in their stories. It is in their actions, their sacrifice, and their unwavering commitment to truth. In a world that is constantly changing, the essence of their message remains constant. Turn towards God, seek justice, live with compassion. Their voices, their teachings, remain etched into the fabric of human history. They have spoken. But are we listening? As we conclude this journey, remember this: the prophets were not just figures of the past. They are the shining examples for us today, and their wisdom is within our reach. Stay tuned, because the story is far from over. The search for truth, the path to redemption, continues, and the message of the prophets is just as alive as ever.